Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, if you are listening to the sound of my voice right now, then you know you are tuned in for another episode of Marking Out Amongst Friends. This week on our agenda, we have a nice little discussion about the very long 5 hour greatest Royal Rumble event that took place this past weekend. Also, we're going to give you some predictions, as we always do for upcoming pay-per-views, for the upcoming event Backlash, which is going to be our first non-major pay-per-view to feature both rosters in probably over a year now. So just hang tight. And we're going to get right into it. First with the greatest Royal Rumble event. We also have Toya, or Lady Great One, in the building. We missed you last week. It was a little lonely doing the show without you, but I'm glad to have you back this week. How you feel?
Well, I appreciate it. I've been going through a couple of personal issues and things like that. So I got my head in the game, and I'm ready to talk some wrestling. Let's do it, boys.
Absolutely. Well, it's just kind of one boy this time with me. I mean, I'm a little hefty, so I could be, two people, but right now you're just rocking with me. So how did you watch the whole event in one go round when you watched it, or did you watch the Greatest Royal Rumble in sections? Like, this is a 5 hour event. Like, I don't know if people watched it all the way through. I watched it all the way through Sunday, and it took up pretty much all of my day. What about you?
I sat back Friday afternoon. I started it not at noon, but it was around 4 o'clock. And let's just say there was plenty of alcohol involved in order to get me through the long, slow, botchy everything that was GRR.
Very botchy. It was a lot of botches indeed. If not anything else, the one that sticks out to me the most is the returning Bobby, aka Botchy Lashley, in the ring, who almost caught a body, almost killed Big Cass in the ring. So it's a lot of botches that were going on. I think there was a lot of jitters. I think it was a lot of pressure to kind of perform in Saudi Arabia. This is another market they're looking to venture into. I think maybe the nerves might have got to a couple of people, but it was a lot of sloppiness that was going on there. And not the good kind that can get you in trouble.
Oh, are we going there already? We're doing this thing already?
Helen, get the jaw ready. We're going on a bumpy ride tonight.
I will
and
say
not the
that.
Sloppy good kind. Oh, I am on a roll.
Oh, it must be butter. But because you're on a roll. Either way, the botchiness wasn't just from the performers, but it was also from the commentary. At one point in time, Michael Cole killed somebody off when he said the late, great Sergeant Slaughter. I mean, I had to stop and pull out the Wikipedia on that. And I was like, is Sergeant Slaughter dead? Is there something I hadn't heard about when he said late, great Sergeant Slaughter? I mean, that caught completely off guard.
Is it that bad that was my same thought process? I was like, wait a minute, I'm not sure about that. Let me fact check. The fact that you had to fact check to be sure or not, because Sergeant Slaughter has fallen off the face of the earth. Haven't seen him doing many events with the WWE. He always makes a cameo here and there for a special event. Was he there for the Raw anniversary episode last year?
To be honest, Chris, could you fact check that for me, because I missed the show?
Chris, let's fact check that one. We'll come back to that one in a little bit. Let's jump into some of the matches. Once again, this is a long pay-per-view event. 10 matches, 5 hours. Of course, John Cena and Triple H opened up the show. This really wasn't I didn't expect much from this match. I didn't get much from this match. What I did get from this match is that the fans were definitely engaged, and I can see why exactly they opened up. It seems that Saudi Arabia is very huge on John Cena. Cena, of course, picks up the victory in this match and goes on a long speech thanking, everyone, thanking the crowd, and telling them how great he are. Just in typical Cena fashion. Pretty much playing up to the crowd. On this match itself, I probably would give this match probably about in the words of Bret Hart, maybe a 4 out of 10. Nothing really special. Um, so Chris just came in with the fact check. So Sergeant Slaughter's last appearance was way back in 2014 in the tribute to the troops. So it has been quite a minute since we've seen him on TV. Wasn't really a huge fan of Sergeant Slaughter when I was a kid. I don't know if that's wrong to say that because he's a legend, or I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer. Is he a Hall of Famer? Who cares? Wasn't really a huge fan of his. I mean, I did like the Cobra Clutch, but other than that, I mean, the character itself is really kind of what made him. But not to get off task. Back to the Cena match. I think 4 out of 10 is going to be my rating for that one. I think it went a little too long for me for it to be a meaningless, no build match. But I think that they did probably the best that they could for them to shortly announce that this was going to open the show before it started.
Well, for me, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off there. I just had to get this off my chest. It's been bothering me for a little bit. But I wish Cena could have stopped to get a haircut at least, because it did not look pretty. I mean, I understand Nikki's got you all stressed out, but baby, you got to make time for yourself. If not anything, at least go get you a 10-second haircut. I mean, just a couple of buzz here, and get that under control, baby. It just wasn't working for me. I'm sorry. I love you, and I'm available. You got my number. Call me whenever you're ready to, go out and do this thing. But either way it goes. Back to the match. I'm going to be very, very brief because it was very, very poor. And it's a solid 2 out of 10.
Whew. Jesus. Harsh. We couldn't get it. We couldn't get any more than a 2 out of you. Well, what garnered the 2? What?
Just the fact that it was Cena and Triple H, and it was strictly for the Saudi fans. Other than that, there were botches all over the place. Triple H got the 2 when he started to do the 5 knuckle suck it. So that was really what gave the 2 to the match. Other than that, I mean, there were missed spots. I mean, there was obvious flailing there. They just didn't have that chemistry that they used to have a decade ago. So,
yeah, I mean, that's what happens when you mix a part-timer with a part-timer. And I can't consider Triple H a part-timer on screen, but a part-timer in the ring. There's going to be some rust there, but yeah, that was pretty. It was pretty horrendous. Very cringeworthy, indeed. I really don't know what the point of that match is, other than, like you said, to give the Saudi fans, there's nothing that happened before that. I don't think that they followed up on it afterwards. It really didn't do anything to push or de-push either one of them. Not that either one of them needed it, but it's just, I don't even want to talk about that match more. Next match on the card was the Cruiserweight title match, which Cedric Alexander is probably one of the best up-and-coming talents that they have in WWE right now. This match between Kalisto and Cedric Alexander, even though it only went for about 10 minutes, was really huge. I would personally give this match at least a 9 out of 10. I wouldn't give it a 5-star match if I'm, Meltzer. But this match had a lot of good spots in it. My favorite portion of the match, of course, was the ending to the match when Kalisto was going for the Salito del Sol and got reversed into the lumbar check. Oh my goodness. when I say that I marked out, that I really marked out amongst my friends when that match happened. Oh my
Shame.
goodness. Shameless plug,
Sorry.
shameless plug. Plug my own show on my own
Okay.
show. That's how great I am. Uh,
Exactly. Continue, sir. Please.
Oh, I'm done. There's really not many words that I can put into how much I enjoyed that actual match. I'm glad that Kalisto is starting to get put in these matches again. Kalisto was one of those talents that before he got to the WWE that a lot of people talked about. A lot of people thought that he was going to be the next Ray. Then we got into the issues with, his talking not being great. And then he gets paired with Sin Cara. And then he got fed to Braun Strowman. And then he got moved to 205, which hopefully 205 will be the rejuvenation of him. I really like Kalisto, honestly. I really do. I wish that they could put him back into the main roster. Former mid-card champion. I mean, he's probably at a low point right now, but he's got a lot of talent. What'll really be a match is if sometime they can book it within the next 6 months to a year, is going to be Kalisto versus Ricochet. Whenever they put that match on the card, oh buddy, I am there front center with my popcorn ready. But enough talking about him. What was your opinions of this match?
Well, my thoughts on this match were simple. I believe there's a certain superstar on SmackDown who sums this up rather nicely for me. Ty Dillinger, the perfect 10. 10. 10. This match was absolutely incredible. The springboard Salida del Sol, Spanish fly that he hit right there, beautiful from the middle rope. Oh my gosh, Cedric was able to show off the power. The match was just great. I mean, it completely made me forget about John Cena's bad haircut, or non-haircut, should I say, because that match was so good. I got to give that one a 10.
Wow, 10. I think that may have been the first 10 that I've seen since we've started the show. So kudos to them. Great match. I really think that was probably the match of the night. I don't actually know probably about it. It was definitely the match of the night, and I'm definitely glad that 205 is definitely getting the showcase. You'll probably see a lot of them on the pre-shows going forward. But hopefully, if things keep going the way that they are, that Cedric is going to be in tune for a long run. The next match that I show on the card, I had the Sheamus and Cesaro, the Bar versus Woken Matt and Bray Wyatt. Even though I'm interested in this Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy team, it was pretty much a lock for that match that they were going to win. So I don't even really have a rating for that match because it was just very predictable. If I was to give it a rating just by default, I'd give it a 5 out of 10. And it, once again, it's not really to do with how good or bad the match it was itself. It was just, this is probably one of the most, if not the most predictable match that I've seen in quite some time. I mean, the Bar is already on SmackDown. We already have a SmackDown tag team match later on in the card. The only Raw team competing is Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy. I mean, Stevie Wonder knew who was going to win that match. I don't know. What do you got to say about that match?
Next.
Exactly. Well, while we're on the topic of the Hardys, the next match on the card, which, this was the match that everybody said is, going to get the Maharaja over. They wanted him to win the title back because they're closer to his homeland. No. Jinder Mahal was still met with boos, showing that he's still drawing heat even overseas, which to me is a good thing. A lot of people will look at that and say that, oh, that means that he's terrible, he's blah, blah, blah. He's still the Mahajabber or whatever terms that they have for him. I like the heat that Jinder Mahal draws. It was sort of like, I would say, a la Miz about 10 years ago, right when he came out of that feud with John Cena the first time when he was claiming to be 3-0. And, Miz was just getting booed out of the building. And a lot of people would say, oh, it's not because he's drawing heat. He just can't wrestle. And people don't like people who can't wrestle. I don't care what it is for. If he draws heat, he's going to be a huge heel going forward. But more about the match. This match was very short. Talking about botches, probably the worst, well, second worst botch. We'll talk about the worst botch of the night later on. But the second worst botch of the night is, as the doc said, not the whisper in the wind, but the fart in the wind. Jeff Hardy goes for the whisper in the wind and completely misses Jinder Mahal. And misses happen. It's a high risk maneuver. But then on top of him completely missing the maneuver and everybody seeing the miss the maneuver, Jinder Mahal falls as if he was hit and sells the maneuver.
And what makes it so bad? This was so bad right there. I'm so sorry. It was so bad that Corey Graves and the rest of the commentary team were trying to make up an excuse as to what happened. They spent a good 5 minutes trying to make out why he fell.
Like, I don't know if they just didn't have chemistry or what. Like, you could have at least, like, after he missed it, got back up and hit him and then tried to do it again and connected. But it's just one of those moments when we say, what in the actual, well, I'll save this one on the draw, Helen. I ain't gonna do you like that this time. But what in the actual hell is going on? Like, oh my goodness. I really thought that Jinder Mahal was going to win this match, though. Shouts to Jeff for getting the win. Jeff is throwing a lot of stiff swanton bombs out there right now. Like, I don't know if anybody has been paying attention, but he is throwing like his whole body into that thing and landing flat on his opponents when he's hitting it. Like, I know that's got to be painful. I think I read an article or something about that recently. Somebody had posted in the Game Runners about him saying that he's doing this intentionally, and talking about, all of the maneuvers he's taken over the years. He's like, when people wrestle him, hey, this is what you're going to get right now. It's better me hurt you than me hurt myself, so to speak. What was your opinions on this match other than the second worst botch of the night?
Well, I mean, the match itself was good for two reasons. It was very, very, very entertaining. Jinder Mahal is obviously one of the top heels in WWE, no matter where you go. If you didn't like the man, you wouldn't waste any energy on him. That's one thing that people seem to understand. The quieter you are, the more that you're pushing that person to do a change. All these loud boos and cheers for people like Roman. If you don't like the man, be quiet, because silence is golden.
Amen. I gotta give you a clap for that one. That statement hit it right on the head. Whether you don't like somebody or whether you like somebody, you paid to boo him, you're still lining his pockets, so to speak. And I'm knocking a lot of what happened in that match for one good thing that I can say about Jinder Mahal, and it's just one maneuver that he does that I really, really like seeing him do. A lot of people, because it's a sidekick, really would call it a super kick, but Jinder Mahal has been using what is actually a Yakuza kick in his matches, and he has been lighting people up with that maneuver. I miss that maneuver. I'm glad that somebody brought that style of kick back in a world where everybody's doing super kicks. He does one just to kind of make himself a little bit different, and I'm glad that he brought that move back.
All right. I didn't really pay that much attention. I'm just sick and tired of a super kick party, be it the Young Bucks, the Usos, Carmella, the list goes on and on and on and on. Yeah, the list goes on and on and on and on and on. I was just naming out a couple of them, and damn, I mean, we could have a whole show talking about super kicks, but we won't. Thank God, you will never hear a whole super kick show.
Absolutely. Shawn Michaels' career is turning over in its grave right now.
And Dolph Ziggler 2.0, Shawn Michaels 2.0 is trying to bring it back.
Oh my goodness, he's doing more to just bury it than actually bringing it back. Next match on the card, this is another one sort of like the tag team match that I was talking before. I really don't have much to say about this one. Bludgeon Brothers versus the Usos. I don't like the outcome of this match just because, I mean, I understand that they're pushing the Bludgeon Brothers to be this dominant tag team, this powerful tag team. But the Usos have pretty much been the anchor of the tag team division for quite some time on SmackDown. Even outside of the multiple amazing matches that they had with the New Day over the last, year and some change, they still deserved more than a 5-minute squash match and a title match and especially pay-per-view. For that reason alone, and I'm not hating on the Bludgeon Brothers. They've been there for a while. I'm glad that they have gold, but give me something better than that. And I'm not one to really focus on a lot of the wrestling, but it's just like, and I'm not above a squash match, but it's just given the nature of the team that you're facing, you guys could have did better than that. So in my opinion, as you stated earlier, with the 2 out of 10 with Triple H and John Cena, I'm going to give this one a 2 out of 10 as well.
Well, on this one was just the fact of everything that you just said. I didn't want to agree with you, but you hit it on the head. I can't say anything more. They should not squash the Usos that way. If it had been, say, I don't know, like if they would have brought back the Shining Stars for one night and the Bludgeons would have squashed them, it probably would have made more sense.
Mm-hmm.
But to squash your number one team, your flagship bearing team on SmackDown, the ones who's been lighting it up for the last this year solid, involved in one of the greatest rivalries in the tag team division that people actually cared about, and you treat them like that? Boo. That's garbage. Poor creative. However, it was the day for the Wyatt family because every single one of the Wyatt family walked away as a champion in some form or fashion.
Absolutely. I mean, they've been there for a long time. I can definitely, concur that they deserve some respect. But I mean, you got to give us a better match than that. And like you said, I mean, the Usos. I'm a fan of the Usos. I love seeing them wrestle. Just with what they've done over the past year and some change, and then in the weeks after WrestleMania, they got them getting pummeled and Naomi having to come to the rescue. Naomi has to come to the Usos' rescue and stop them from getting beat up. And then they get squashed in 5 minutes at a specialty pay-per-view. It's just, I hate to use the word. I hate when other people use the word, but, if anybody is getting buried right now in the company, that is a team that's getting buried right now. And they've got to stop what they're on pace to do before you end up making the New Day, not the New Day, the Usos, a jobber tag team again. Matter of fact, I don't even want to spend much more time on that one. Next matches. I'm going to let you go first on your ratings on this match. What did you feel about this match?
This match, to me, 8.5 all day. Swiper no swiping, swiper no swiping, swiper no swiping. Oh, man. I had to go through the whole Door of the Explorer thing there. Absolutely had to. This match was great. Start to finish. Just the look on Finn Balor's face at the very end when Seth jumped from the middle rope onto the ladder and ran up there like lightning, snagged it down right up underneath Finn Balor. That's like, did he just fucking do that? Sorry, Helen, I'll just will draw tomorrow. But I know Helen. I know. I'll calm it down. But absolutely. Just I'm in awe, and I can't even say more about that match. Everybody did their job. It was great. And just Finn Balor's face was priceless at the end. Great job, Seth.
Absolutely. I'm gonna give that one a good 8 or 8.5 from that one. I'm maybe an 8.25. I don't really know which way I kind of want to go with it. I definitely am rating that one high on the scale of the matches tonight. Probably second or third best match of the night. The Seth Rollins thing really put it over the top for me with how he won. Not only because, like you said, he pulled a swiper and stole it away from Finn Balor, but it's just because all of my life I've been watching ladder matches in the WWE, and I have always thought to myself, why does everyone take so long to pull the belt off when they get up at the top of the ladder? It's like, it can't be up there too tight. It's like one swift move, just yank it off. And Seth finally was the person who did it. I'm like, why has nobody been doing this before? Like, I just remember watching people struggle with getting that thing off the hook, and Seth came up there and snatched that thing down in like half a second. It was hilarious, and like you said, the look on Finn Balor's face looks like he was like legitimately shocked, like he didn't know that was going to happen. Great job of selling on his end to make it even better. But yeah, that was a great match. It's kind of interesting to see what all those guys are going to end up doing with Finn and Seth, which they had a match and tore the house down on Raw this week. I don't know if anybody watched Raw this week, but Seth and Finn Balor main evented for the Intercontinental title. We got a slight heel turn from Finn Balor this week, and when I tell you they tore the house down, they tore the house down. I was sitting there thinking like, all right, with this main eventing, Finn, kind of doing his almost heel turn kind of thing. What are they? They're gonna end this one dirty. Somebody's gonna interfere, and they cut the thing on the show right before the match. The show Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler, and in my mind, I'm thinking, all right, these guys are gonna come out here and interrupt this match, and we're gonna get Dolph Ziggler feuding with one of these guys, or we're gonna get a tag team match out of this, a la Teddy Long. But those guys went the distance. Lots of good reversals. Oh my goodness, that was a great match. And I know we're still talking about the greatest Royal Rumble, but I just wanted to put some spotlight on that. Seth Rollins is really earning that moniker as Mr. Monday Night Rollins right now. Okay, so the next match on the card tonight, we have AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. I'll definitely say for this match, it was definitely better than the last match that they had at Mania. A lot of back and forth in that match. I liked heel Shinsuke. I'm glad that they decided to turn him heel because I was worried about his face turn and how his talking was going to be as a face. I would give this match about a 7 out of 10. Could have been higher, but the only thing I didn't like, I hate count out finishes at pay-per-views. And with this being a double count out after we just had a controversial finish with WrestleMania, it's like, okay, I know we want to stretch this one out, but we could have did a little something better to end this match. Maybe, I don't know. It could have been a dusty finish. I don't know, but I hate double count outs with a passion. It's my worst finish that I hate. How about you, Lady Ray One? What's your thoughts on this match?
For me, my thoughts on this match was Nakamura's music is incredible. I do not like double count out finishes myself either. I do like the fact that they're getting to fight one more time, one more match. Yes, we're getting one more match, obviously, and it's coming up on Backlash. I'll get to my prediction on that a little bit later. But I definitely can say that Shinsuke does have great heel heat. And the interest video, the intro song, they tweaked it just a little bit. They made it more like nasty, more mean. I mean, the guy, I can't understand a word he's saying. No offense. He's speaking in Japanese. I don't speak Japanese. But just the music itself just sounds so raw. I love it. That music is banging now. It's been banging before, and everybody got into it with the chants and everything. I'm talking more about the entrance than the match. That shows you what my opinion is on this match. It's about a 5, but just the music alone, I love Shinsuke Nakamura's new music.
Yeah, the new music to try to break it up from people being able to sing along with it, I definitely love it as well. It's awesome.
I mean, otherwise, like I said, the match was about a 5.5, 6 at best to me. Don't like double count out finishes. I'm glad there was not a whole bunch of Nutcracker Mora going on. Yes, I said Nutcracker Mora. And you can look on the game runners and you can see the nice little nutcracker with Shinsuke Nakamura's face. He says no speak English. On top of that, I'm saying what he says. I'm not doing anything other than. But I'm gonna throw that ball back to you and let's go to the next match.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, the next match on the card that we got was the match that had everybody talking before the whole pay-per-view. This was the one where we had Rusev versus The Undertaker. You know, Rusev is announced. Everybody says, oh, he's going to get buried, you know, figuratively speaking, of course, because we know he was going to get buried literally. But everybody's saying, oh, he's going to get buried. Oh, they hate Rusev Day. He's over, blah, blah, blah. Then everybody, he you know, plays into it. He says, bury me softly. And Lana gets tweets out there. All of a sudden, Jericho's in the match. So then everybody is saying, well, man, Rusev was going to get buried. I'm glad he wasn't in that match. So then WWE, like the trolls that they are, right about a week or so before the pay-per-view is on, go back to announce, oh, Rusev is back in the match. I just like that whole setup before the match, before it even started. So I was already prepared to watch this match. I can definitely say in the short 9 or 10 minutes that this match went, this was already a better match than The Undertaker and John Cena put on, and it was very much longer than The Undertaker and John Cena's match from Mania. But, you know, of course, I think that we all knew that Undertaker was going to win this match. Undertaker doesn't squash the face of the franchise and then go lose to Rusev Day in a casket match, which is his match. If I'm going to give a rating on this one, I'm probably going to give this one about a 6.5 out of 10. Not a bad match. I didn't expect a whole lot out of it. I was quite shocked with what I did get. I don't know. What do you think on this one?
On this one, for me, it was more like, okay, I knew Rusev was going to lose. I knew he was going to get buried physically as well as figuratively. Good gosh, I can't even speak it anymore because I'm so hyped up over this. Yes, WWE is trolling the internet and they are listening. They may not like what you have to say and they may not give you exactly what you want, but in a way, they're giving you what you need. So on this one, for me, the dead man has looked incredible. Coming back from, what was it, hip replacement surgery or was it just hip surgery? I don't know. But Chris, can I get a fact checked on that, please? If it was hip replacement or was it just regular hip surgery? The Undertaker looked like he was about 30 years old. He was still moving just as well as he ever has. I mean, he looked incredible. Yes, I did notice that he just chokeslammed Rusev and then he tombstone Aiden English and to bury Aiden English alongside of Rusev. That was just beautiful. And you had to put it and lay it to rest. And Undertaker is always my favorite, has always been my favorite. I am a fan of the Phenom, and he is legendary status. So any match with the Undertaker, minus the WrestleMania John Cena squash, to me is absolutely golden. I'm just glad that he showed up at Mania. I will say that. I'm glad I did get a chance to see the Undertaker do his thing at Mania and then come back and do this again at GRR. To me, it was just great. So, long story short, I'll give this one a 7.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. I was an Undertaker fan growing up too. I just wish, you know, he may retire. He just looks a little out of place. No offense. I know you're a fan. I know your fam is a fan. But you know, it's time to rest that character in peace, if you know what I mean. Uh, Next match on the card. This is a match with the last prediction show and the last, recap show that we did that I said I didn't want to see anymore. Brock Lesnar, Universal Champion versus Roman Reigns, steel cage matchup. I was not, once again anticipating to see this match. I will say, as I said about the Undertaker match earlier, that this was a better match than I saw the two put on at Mania by far. Uh, it wasn't a very long one. I think that it was a lot of cool spots in there, like when Roman was about to exit the cage and Heyman comes out of nowhere and slams the cage into his face. But, everybody's talking about the controversial finish now. He didn't watch it. Roman Reigns spears Brock Lesnar through the cage to the floor. Brock Lesnar laying still on the cage, no part of his body touching the floor. Roman Reigns rolls off of the cage and both of his feet back, everything touches the floor. The announce team actually states while this is happening what the rules of the match are, saying that the winner of the match is the person whose feet touch the floor first. Yet, for some reason, WWE still says that Brock Lesnar is the winner of this match. By far, it did not make any type of sense to me. I feel like this is setting us up for another Roman versus Brock match again, which I'm really tired of seeing. All in all, with this match, I think the Paul Heyman spot and the Spear spot were the only things that really were cool with this one to me. I'm going to give this one another 5 out of 10 on the show. What about you? What are your feelings on this match? I know you're a fan of the big dog, so to speak.
Yes, and once again, the big dog gets screwed. I can't say enough about how lazy Brock has been in this nearly 400-day title reign. Yes, Brock Lesnar is the guy that Vince is putting all of his chips in on. He's almost like trying to keep him from running back to Dana White in the UFC. Right. Yeah, they're still good buddies and pals and stuff like that, but it's like, hey, we can give you this great lucrative contract and you only have to work just as much as you do for UFC and you get to keep the belt. And we're just going to continue to screw over Roman and let y'all two just continue to fight again and again and again and again. So, very controversial ending. The match itself had some good spots, as you said before. The Heyman spot, the nice ending spear where you could actually see when they slowed down the tape and you could actually see the nuts and bolts and plastic ties and everything flying off the cage when he got speared through. That was a good ending. Like the fact that they're going to sell it again to where Roman actually has a legitimate gripe to receive yet another title shot. However, it is what it is. The match itself, about a 5.5.
That's fair. I think that, I don't know. I'm just ready for that to be over with. If they're not going to give Roman Reigns the title, go ahead and give somebody else a shot. My personal next in line on Raw probably would have been Seth. But it looks like Seth and Finn are locked into this feud. So I'm not sure what they're going to do with this whole title picture. Maybe Braun gets another shot. I don't know. Speaking of which, move on to the 50-man Battle Royal, the Royal Rumble match, greatest Royal Rumble of all time match, the marquee match, the granddaddy of matches on this show. I pretty much called this one from the start. I mean, I already knew who was going to win this match before it started. I just felt like there was nobody else who deserved to win it other than Braun. I'm glad he won. A lot of highlights were in this match. First and foremost, I mentioned the second biggest botch of the night earlier. The biggest botch of the night, and one of the things that people have been raving about all week. Titus O'Neil running to the ring at full speed, and as soon as he tries to plant his feet to jump on the apron, he does a full-on baseball slide. Umpire calls it safe right under the ring, and they just kept replaying this part. I think this is what made it even funnier than me. The commentary kept replaying this part and joking for at least 5 or 10 minutes after it was over with. And it's like you felt bad for the guy because he came in with a lot of aggression afterwards, but it was so funny. Like, kudos to him. He's trying to cash in on it. He got a new shirt out there about him falling out under the ring. But, man, just to see it live, oh, my goodness, that was hilarious. Whew.
And my sides were hurting. I was dying when he did that. I mean, that was absolutely great. Oh my gosh. They could not have planned that better. And for it to happen to Titus, who already has a history of falling. I mean, I agree, you feel sorry for him. You can't help but to feel sorry for him. But it's just like, why didn't you just go ahead and stay underneath there for about a good 10 minutes? Act like you got knocked out or something. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, come in closer to the end where the crowd or the herd was thinning out, and then show out. And at least be one of the last few people left and try to win it instead of immediately jumping in the ring and then continue to do what you do. I would have stayed out there for a good 10 minutes underneath that ring and let some of the bodies clear out. Because, I mean, he entered in, 24 or so spot? I'm going to have to go back and look that up again. But, yeah, I definitely would have let the crowd thin out a little bit before I would have gotten the ring.
Yeah, I mean, I think that makes too much sense, honestly. I'm not sure how these type of things work, how they work things out beforehand. But I think that he only lasted a short while in the ring. And I don't know if, when you're locked into these things, how long you're supposed to last or what. That definitely would have been hilarious, but I don't know how much they could have made that call on the fly there. Speaking of how long people last in the match, Daniel Bryan and Dolph Ziggler start off this match, and Daniel Bryan goes on to break a Royal Rumble record of staying in this match. And let me fact check this one if you want to, Chris. Daniel Bryan was in this Royal Rumble for 1 hour and 16 minutes and 5 seconds. Which was breaking Rey Mysterio's record. That in itself, for somebody who has been on the shelf for 3 years, to come back and do a match at WrestleMania and then be the resident Iron Man in the biggest Royal Rumble that has ever rumbled in the WWE, that just says a lot about Daniel Bryan's work ethic. Were you impressed? Are we buying or selling Daniel Bryan and his newfound record?
Nobody in the WWE, in my opinion, is more deserving of that record than Daniel Bryan. I mean, he was the ultimate underdog for so long, and he proved he ran that gauntlet a while back. And it was like he went end to end on the gauntlet, and he ended up winning. And that's how he got his title shot the first time. I know Seth ran an incredible gauntlet, and his time was like 65 minutes, which was like longer than all of Brock Lesnar's 2017 or 2017 matches combined. I just wanted to throw that out there too. But for Daniel Bryan to be the one to do that as well, I think that he really, honestly and truly deserves it. Daniel Bryan is a mainstay on SmackDown, and he should be the face that runs the place like AJ Styles. Moniker says.
100% agree. And I'm always here for Brock bashing, by the way. Kudos on that. Daniel Bryan, is probably the biggest star that they have on the roster right now. And it just shows how over he was before he was injured. For anyone to take 3 years, out for injury, being the general manager, you still see him every week. You hear his music every week. Starts to kind of get a little bit stale of him coming out in his little plaid shirt, as an acting GM every week. And for him to be cleared right before WrestleMania and come back in and not miss a beat and still be just as over, if not more over than he was before he left, that's the real definition of over. We talk about at Rusev's, we talk about Elias, we talk about, a lot of the guys that we know are new and that are quote unquote over. But Daniel Bryan is showing you what over really is. He's definitely more than what someone would consider the flavor of the month or the flavor of the time. Everybody was loving to have him back. I'm definitely glad to have him back. And like you said, there's nobody more deserving to have their name in the record books than Daniel Bryan on that roster. There's not really much else. Braun Strowman, the winner of the match, comes home with the huge trophy that was as big as him, which that's a big-ass trophy. Sorry, Helen. And to go home with that green title belt. Like you said, this was the white. That belt was kind of dope. The belt was kind of dope. I'm not even gonna lie, that belt is really dope.
That belt was gorgeous.
The belt looked better than the Universal title. I'm gonna put that out there right now. I wish that probably, but we know Raw is red and SmackDown is blue, and it wouldn't have made sense to them. But damn it, that was a cool belt. Sorry again, Helen.
That belt should be held on TV every week. That should be the new TV title for WWE. If you're gonna keep that title on Brock, that Universal Championship, give Braun this TV title and let them fight for that week after week, just like they do with the IC title. But make this one more of a weekly defended title, not just a pay-per-view title. That's what I say.
I concur. And we were talking about records just now. You were actually giving us some vital information right before the show started. So Braun Strowman, I think he also broke a record, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Braun Strowman eliminated 13 men, which was currently the record sitting at 12, which Roman Reigns had at the 2016 Royal Rumble, I want to say. Whichever one it was that he won. Yeah, the 2016, because Shinsuke won this year's. And previously also held by Kane, whose record was 11. So 13 men that Braun Strowman single-handedly took out is record-setting. The monster among men is proving that week after week after week after week after week. I don't have to continue to say that because he's done it so many times. I hate it. He got jobbed out to Brock there. But I think they're just kind of waiting and progressing. But then again, he also said it. Patience will pay off. So, yes, Braun Strowman, defend that TV title with pride. I don't know if that's actually what that's going to be. I don't know if that's just something for the Saudi audience. And by the way, you did miss the spot of the four Saudi guys in the ring there, and Arya Davari and his brother came out as well. We didn't really touch on that, but those guys, a couple of them look pretty impressive, even though they only did like one little thing. There was one guy, I cannot remember his name, but he had all black, and like he had a full beard and he had big dimples and a smirk on his face. That was like, man, I really want to see what this guy can do in the ring, because he's a bigger guy too. I really want to see what this guy can do. But
maybe Chris can fact check us on some of those names as well. All of them had tryouts. I can't remember any of the names or faces. I
remember Saul. or something of that nature. But go ahead.
But I mean, yeah, that was a segment that kind of drew a lot of controversy. I know we mentioned in the group earlier this week that we may get this one on another one of our shows to have a discussion about this. But Davari and his brother were actually getting death threats because of the heat that they were drawing in that segment. Um, I'm completely speechless on that. I mean, I thought that we, pretty much all knew that this was a scripted show. I mean, I know Saudi Arabia is, different from where we are over here, but I never is it ever that serious to send death threats?
It should never be, because you're an actor and you're doing a job, and that's where it should end. People should be able to act. I mean, this is a scripted show. People take it way too seriously. It's not true life. These people are actors as well. So let the actors do their jobs and sell. So, in other words, all you did was just reinforce the fact that Arya Davari is amazing at his job.
Absolutely. I mean, when you can draw heat like that, when you're getting death threats, like you said, that's the sign of a major heel right there. This and all of the other matches, when I think about this long event, once again, it was 5 hours. If I wanted to rate the whole show, I would probably give the show about maybe between a 6.5 and a 7, maybe a 6.75. There was a lot of matches. The bad matches were bad, but there was a lot of matches that shocked me. And then, we had the matches that were really, really good. So all in all, I'd probably give this one about a 6.75, dare I say a 7 for that pay-per-view. If you could sit through the entire thing, there was a lot of spots that could be very enjoyable. So I'm not that hard on WWE as I've been before, so to speak. Not to mention my 5 rating of Survivor Series. But, I give credit where credit is due. If you had to rate this whole show, what would you rate this show?
Well, considering this was a He-Man Woman Haters show. Sorry. I just had to take the Little Rascals quotation there because it was only for the boys or about the boys. Yes, this show to me, minus the couple of bad matches there and the greatest botches, I will say this was a solid 6.5 as well. Oh, and I do have the prospects named, the 4 prospects. You had Nassar of Mecca, Hussein of Medina, Mansoor of Riyadh, and Faisal of Jeddah. And I will say, I know I probably botched those cities, besides maybe Jeddah, but or Mecca or Medina, but Mansoor and of Rydia, I don't know. I think I just completely screwed that one up. But those were the 4 gentlemen who were the Saudi recruits for the WWE. And yeah, I just wanted to toss that back out there to you. But all in all, once again, about a 6.5. And I'm glad that it was the Wyatt's day, and each and every one of them has a title or a stake to claim at the GRR. And I'm tossing it back to you, sir. Tag, you're it. I guess I must have lost him there, or maybe I lost myself. I do not know.
I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm sorry, we're having some technical difficulties there. Chris, I think we're together now. But I definitely agree with you. I think that it was a good special.
Keyword special.
Yeah, I was a good special. I think that we should get another one in the future in Saudi Arabia. I won't judge them for being the woman-hating country that they are, because they did show a lot of good in Saudi Arabia during the special. I think they're allowing women to drive now, so hopefully that will help make strides in the future for them to have a women's match, so to speak. WWE is definitely working hard to try to break barriers, but at the end of the day, their culture is their culture. We know
And I'm
what
not.
we.
I'm sorry. I have to say something here. I'm not disrespecting Saudi Arabia for their culture. I will say that WWE did get in a slight bit of trouble because of them airing the promo of Backlash, where Carmella was in that scantily clad outfit and they actually showed women wrestling. I know that there was a twinge of problems just because of that. Um, I know that they had released a statement apologizing about that because they were asked not to mention that, but you kind of can't have a special and not lead to the next show. So I don't really think that it was intentional to disrespect the country. I just think it was a mistake that they couldn't quite edit out everything showing women for Backlash.
Super facts, super facts. Well, on that note, I'll conclude, the review for GRR, the Greatest Royal Rumble, for that one. And we're going to move on to our next event. Even though we just had a special last weekend, the new pay-per-view coming up. Well, not a new pay-per-view, but the next pay-per-view, Backlash, that we have. This is going to be the first non-Big Four pay-per-view that's going to be integrated again. I think that they had a trial of the separate pay-per-views last year. I don't think it worked. Actually, personally glad that they're going back to the integrated pay-per-view every month now. Just because it seems like they were struggling to try to find matches to fill the time every month. With it being integrated, you pretty much get the best 3 or 4 matches, the best 3 or 4 rivalries from both shows every month going into the pay-per-view, and I think that it will overall get a much better product. Hopefully, what that'll lead to is everybody stepping their game up, and pay-per-views like WrestleMania won't be such crap next year. But Backlash, we got a few feuds going into Backlash. Some of them looks like they're matches that we kind of threw on there. A lot of just generic one-on-one matches with no specialty, no stipulations, no titles. So I'm not really having a big, match that I'm waiting for on this pay-per-view. I don't really have high expectations going to this pay-per-view, but usually when I don't have high expectations, those are the best pay-per-views. So hopefully, this will surpass, what I think that this will achieve. So just to kind of throw some of the matches out there, throw the card that we have. So we have 8 matches. We have tag team title match. Bobby, aka Bocce Lashley, and Braun Strowman versus KO and Sammy. Now, Braun Strowman, they had a cool little spot how he kept throwing both of them into the barricade this Monday, and the match at the top of the hour on Raw. But this one didn't strike me as a feud to be somewhat of a pay-per-view match. And given the humongous size difference between both teams, I'm pretty sure it's going to be kind of difficult to put together a great match. For this match alone, just because I'm a Strowman fan, I'm going to predict that we'll get, at least 5 out of 10, being that it's Strowman and it is Kevin Owens in the match. But I really don't have much high expectations other than that. Hopefully they'll prove me wrong, but I don't really have high expectations for that one. I don't know. Are you buying or selling this being a good match or a high rated match here? All right, Chris on tech. Do we still have Lady Great One here? All right. Well, we're having some technical difficulties right now. We'll move on to the next match.
Hello, hello,
One,
hello. Can you hear me? You
we
there?
can
You
hear you.
there?
We can hear you.
All right, all right. Sorry about that. So it's Bobby, Bocce, and Braun, correct?
Correct.
Versus Woken, Matt, and Bray.
No. Versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah. As you were saying,
Yes.
continue. Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty much. If they do put on a better match than that, that'll definitely be helpful. But I don't think we're gonna get much of a match out of that one.
um, I think that this is just to have Braun and Bobby Lashley just to see how much better they can get at working together as a cohesive unit. If you're just considering to try to keep Braun out of the title picture and just to give the fans what they want and keep Braun relevant, keep him fresh. This is the route that they chose, and you can't make anybody hate Sammy and Kevin more than what they already do. And this right here just adds more fuel to that fire. So this is a punishment match, so to speak.
I mean, if you want to call it that, I mean, yeah, I can definitely agree with a lot of that. Other than my rating on that one, I'm definitely predicting Bobby Lashley and Strowman to win this one, no doubt. I just don't see how they're going to put this one over unless they put some type of turn to make one of the two turn heel. I don't see any possible way, such as Doctor Strange was in the recent Infinity Wars movie. I've looked in my mind. I've looked in my mind at 14 different million outcomes, and none of them show me Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens winning this match.
Oh, let's go ahead and continue. What's the next match, sir?
So the next match on the card right now we have announced is Daniel Bryan versus Big Cass. Now Daniel Bryan and Big Cass on paper does not sound like a good match. If you look at this match, you're saying, "Ew, Big Cass, what is he doing in this match?" However, since Big Cass has returned after WrestleMania, Big Cass has impressed me a little bit. Not so much with the ring work, but with the mic work.
Agreed.
A lot of what Big Cass is doing is stuff that I didn't expect. Jumping right into a feud with Daniel Bryan, I'm like, all right, you're trying to get him over as a major heel. Anybody is going to draw a super heat, going against Daniel Bryan. But then he comes out in the suit and he starts cutting promos, talking about the little guy and mocking Daniel Bryan with the yes chants. I don't know if anybody watched SmackDown. I caught bits and pieces of it this week, but I did get to see his promo that he cut where he brought out Dan Little Bryan, a midget dressed up as Daniel Bryan, full beard and hair and everything with the Yes Movement shirt on.
Little person.
I'm sorry, little person. Excuse me, Helen. Am I going to? I guess I get 50 cents for that one and not a whole dollar.
Oh, Helen, you might want to double that instead.
I told you we're on it tonight. But I mean, Cass has really made me interested in this match. I'm not even going to lie. The mic work that he's used, and Daniel Bryan hasn't really even had to say much. I mean, he's always going to be over no matter what he says. He can just come out there and say yes, and he's over. But Big Cass has made me intrigued in this feud, and I actually am not even 100% locked on Daniel Bryan winning this match anymore. This being his first one-on-one pay-per-view match since his return, at first I said to myself, I doubt that they're going to let him lose this match. But if Big Cass is going to be the monster heel of the show, which it looks like they're trying to make him, I'm going to go with Big Cass winning this one. And the match itself, I don't even care what the rating is going to be. I'm going to personally probably like this match no matter how what the move said. I don't see it being bad because you got Daniel Bryan. He can carry anybody. But I am calling Big Cass to win this one.
Well, when I heard the news initially about Big Cass making his return, I was like, okay, that's cool. Hopefully he won't be boring. And then the news broke that same day where Daniel Bryan was cleared. They took real life situations and turned it into a beautiful story. And this has really compelled me to want to see what will happen next. This was a great thing of taking real life situations and making it such great story. This is really what creative needs to be doing, pulling more out of real life and giving us feuds and stuff like this. Because normally you would hear this card and be like, okay, Daniel Bryan, Big Cass, so what? Who cares? Next match. Normally, but not for Daniel Bryan's sake, of course, but for just saying Big Cass, okay, whatever. Who's next? But for the situation to have happened where he was completely overshadowed on his return, this is just life has a way of working in that fashion. So great storytelling there, boys. And I think I can agree with you on this. I don't think that Big Cass will be overshadowed in this match by Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan will do a lot more of the work in helping put Cass over. And SmackDown could use another big heel. And like, we got a great big face, and he didn't actually need Miz's help to get him over on that level to draw that heat. And actually, it might be cool for them to have a future feud where Miz is actually the face and Daniel Bryan is a heel or something to that effect. Or Big Cass could be the heel to Miz's face. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen next, but I like it. And I like the direction that SmackDown is going right now on this match. So I predict Big Cass.
I do too. I love the direction it go. Dare I say it? I want to see this feud kind of extend after the pay-per-view and maybe get another match between the two with some type of stipulation at the next pay-per-view. Like a guy, I can't really say his name right now. He's a mutual friend of the Doc that is on the Game Runners, made a post earlier and stated that it's good to see when you get somebody that's an indie darling and put them up against somebody that the internet typically, hates, that it makes this organic, like, versus feud more realistic. And, I brought up the match with Roman Reigns and AJ Styles 2 years, emotion behind everything that was going on, where they're going to progress, and hopefully this feud will last a little longer than one pay-per-view. The Miz can be incorporated in it, but I think that everybody and their mama knows that Miz and Daniel Bryan are going to feud eventually. And I think it's smart to try to not jump into that feud just yet and wait till a major pay-per-view comes along before you put that feud together.
I mean, I completely agree there. That's something that is bound to happen. But I feel like this is just so organic, and it's so much passion involved on Big Cass's part that you almost feel sorry for the guys. Like, how can you overlook this man who's like one of the biggest men in the company? Like, how can you overlook him? And maybe
associated with Enzo.
Well, hey, shit happens. But just in general, just to be overlooked, a guy this big who's got great potential. I mean, it's not like he is terrible in the ring. I think he's actually pretty good. I was curious to see what he can do, and I'm ready for him to step out of that shadow. And they finally got him some good theme music Thank goodness.
Finally. Now, only when Jason Jordan returns, if we can do the same for Jason Jordan. But, oh my God, they both have had some horrendous themes, and they finally got it right with Cass. So it looks like the stars are aligning for Big Cass here. Not to spend too much time on Big Cass and Daniel Bryan's feud, because we got a lot of other matches on the card. So I'm going to move right along into my personal match that I do want to see coming up, just because they've always had a good match when they win one-on-one. This is another one, how I was mentioning the indie darling versus the guy that fans hate, Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe on this card. Samoa Joe has been stressing this match hard since before the Greatest Royal Rumble. And for him to be pressing this match so hard and ripping Roman Reigns up on the mic like he has been for the past few weeks, it's making me feel like this is going to be a Roman Reigns win, especially with all of the losses Roman Reigns has taken to Brock lately. The match itself will probably be good. I don't know if it'll end up being the best match that they ever had, but I'm expecting probably a 7 out of 10 here. I don't know how invested Roman is going to be, being that this is not a title match or this is not leading to a title match. But yeah, I'm going to go with
one of those. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, you going with Roman on this? Yeah, 3.
I really like Roman. I really do. I defend Roman more than most Roman fans do. But
yes, I see you do. I just wanted to get that out there. I'm sorry. I had to take that opportunity and run. I was swiping Seth Rollins right there. But you didn't even see it coming. It just hit you like that. But on this one, actually, I'm going to go Joe. I want Joe in this one because I think that, once again, since they are on separate shows now, we're only going to get this match them one-on-one right here. And I don't know if they're going to continue to try to do this cross-brand feud. I'm going to take Joe on this one because, yes, I know Roman has been eating a ton of losses, but Joe could actually use the full head of steam going in there to possibly, once Nakamura and AJ are finished, to possibly go more towards the title picture. So I think that this is just a launching pad and stepping stone for Joe to propel forward on SmackDown in the land of missed opportunities. So I'm going to give this one to Joe.
I can agree with a lot of what you said other than the result of the match. And like you were mentioning, getting a head of steam going into the title match. It's funny you mentioned that because he did kind of throw his name in the hat this week in the middle of Nakamura and AJ Styles' feud to come out there and let AJ Styles know that once he was finished with Roman Reigns, that whoever the champion is, he's got them next on the agenda. So Joe ain't playing no shit. Excuse me. Once again, Helen, I'm sorry. We're letting a lot of them fly. That's good on that. I mean, the FCC allows a limited number of shits per episode, right? I don't think we've hit that episode. I don't think we've hit that number yet.
No, I think South Park got the record by like a good 25 to 30 there on it. So I think we're okay there.
Well, shit. I'm going to... I think that, dare I say it, that of the previous 2 matches that I've seen or that I've talked about, that Reigns versus Joe could be possibly a show stealer for the night. If they play it like they've been playing matches, but I don't think that they will. The next match on the card that we have, women's title match for WWE's SmackDown Live. Carmella, first title defense on a pay-per-view since to put her on of the can wrestle or can't wrestle side of the fence.
Considering that Carmella has not had a singles match on a pay-per-view in a couple of years, that right there alone just says that maybe they were just kind of biding their time on Carmella. I mean, maybe Carmella's going to show us something that we haven't really seen before. Maybe Carmella is going to be the one to continue to dethrone the queen and best the queen at every opportunity, because we haven't seen enough of her. So going back to like a football reference, when there's a new rookie quarterback and there's no footage, there's not much tape on them, you can't really prepare yourselves for that.
I'm just glad you made that football reference. It just warmed my heart more than you even know. But I completely 100% agree.
I mean, your girl does follow football as well, so don't get it twisted. This might be a wrestling show, but I am not just 100% WWE all day, every day. I love my football and I love my baseball. But moving right back to the topic at hand, I'm very, very curious to see what's going to go on here. So I'm just going to say, just because of the rookie out of the box, not much footage, I'm going to go Mella.
Yeah, I agree. I hope the best case scenario for Carmella is she's the SmackDown version of Alexa Bliss. You know, that she's kind of that one that you looked over before she got to SmackDown. And, you know, with all of the other talent that they have, Naomi, a former women's champion, you know, we've got Becky Lynch still there, former women's champion. You got some NXT call-ups to come up. So, I mean, we got Asuka there, who former NXT women's champion, formerly had the longest winning streak. So, I mean, it's one of those things where, because there's so many people that you know are going to do well, it's always good to have that one person that you bring up or that you put the spotlight on that nobody expects it to come from. So I definitely agree. I think we'll see Carmella win this match by some kind of underhanded way. And I think that we may be in line to see a couple of months of Carmella being champion, just to kind of get her over in that heel role, so to speak.
I can completely concur with that, sir. And you just took the words out of my mouth, basically. So go ahead.
You know, I feel like we're agreeing too much. So now I think I want to say Charlotte, just because you're agreeing with me.
Well, actually, no, sir. You agreed with me, because I started off that and I said that Mella was going to take this title. So you might want to get that fact check done, Chris. That's right. I did that.
Charlotte is Ric Flair's daughter, so that trumps everything. Charlotte's going to win. I'm changing my opinion. Charlotte's winning this match. We're going back to the Queen era.
Mella is money, and continue. And Mella's got the gold.
To stay on track with the women's match, the next match I show on the card, the Raw Women's Championship match. And funny, we mentioned Alexa Bliss. We have Alexa Bliss in this match as the challenger, which is the first time you can say Alexa Bliss is the challenger in a title match in God knows how long.
Too damn long.
Nia Jax, which I am so happy that they decided to pull the trigger and put the title on Nia Jax. I'm so excited that they actually turned her face to do it as well. Because Nia has been pretty much a heel throughout NXT and through the whole time with Raw. And they weren't really establishing her as a dominant heel. So now, with making her a big name as a face, you know, being the advocate for all the people who've been body shamed over the years, and, you know, doing this one for the voice of the voiceless and for the people, she's really becoming like the women's people's champ, so to speak. And I think that
it doesn't help that. Sorry, it doesn't hurt that The Rock is her cousin. By the way, happy birthday, Dwayne. And go ahead.
Happy birthday, Dwayne. Yeah, he's 46. That makes me really feel old. I remember when he was the champion and they were saying that he was one of the youngest champions in WWE history, and now he's 46 years old. That's crazy. But back to Nia. I'm going to call her winning this. Nia Jax is going to win this match. I think that Alexa Bliss will move on to feud with Ronda Rousey. And I think that maybe a month or two, I'm going to give it no more than 2 months, that Nia is going to make a turn from face to heel while she's the champion. So I'm going with Nia Jackson this one. It's another one on the card. I don't really have a match rating that I'm going to give this one because I don't really expect high hopes out of the match itself. But I'm calling Nia on this one by far, by a country mile.
Okay, I'm gonna call it's going to be what a lot of people can't stand. It's going to be a disqualification of some sort. It Alexa will find some way to get Nia disqualified. She's that sneaky, that underhanded. I think it might be a disqualification ending there. She'll either pull out some sort of weapon or have somebody else come out there and interfere. It's going to be something with her moments of bliss there in this match. So it's going to be a moment for bliss, and it's just going to be a Nia win by disqualification because we agreed to damn much. So I at least got to say something else there.
All right. I think that I think that one's one where even if you want to call Alexa Bliss on that one, you just can't see that one happening. Moving right along, next match on the card, we got title matches all for the rest of the show. Randy Orton versus the Enigma Jeff Hardy for the United States title. I'm yawning even thinking about this match.
Orton. Bring back heel Orton. Bring back heel Orton.
I'm yawning thinking about this match, just because Randy Orton is a very slow paced, old school suplex, power slam.
Methodical.
Yeah, I don't even call it that anymore. It's just like Orton does nothing to impress me outside of RKOs anymore. I would definitely be on board all day for a heel turn for Orton. Just nice Randy is just very boring. And I think that they need a heel Orton. But then again, we're on a show where right now they're starting to stack the heel side a little bit with Nakamura, with Samoa Joe, with The Miz, with Big Cass. So, I mean, Randy Orton, he could turn heel and still be lost in the shuffle, so to speak. So, but I would rather him be heel. But other than that, I mean, with Jeff Hardy just winning the title, I don't see Jeff Hardy being a long-term mid-card champion. So I'm going to call Randy Orton winning this one. I think that we might see one of those epic RKOs, maybe out of maybe the Whisper in the Wind or something like that. But I'm going to go for Orton winning this one and winning the United States title back.
I'm going to say Jeff is going to continue this reign right here because of an interference by Shelton Benjamin. I know I've called 2 interferences in a row on this one because Shelton Benjamin has a legitimate gripe to be included and involved, and instead of this being a triple threat, they just made it a straight 1-on-1, even though it was Randy's match versus Jinder in the first place, in which Randy had yet to beat Jinder. So I was actually kind of looking forward to that, trying to see if Randy could actually best the modern day Maharaja there. But instead, we get the charismatic Enigma, which I have truly always been a fan of. So I'm going with the charismatic Enigma by a straight pinfall over the Viper.
Hey, I don't know if you know this or not. And I know if our buddy Dante was here, he would say this thing. He would say it. I can't pass up the opportunity to bring it up. But I don't know if you guys know this or not. We actually met Jeff Hardy. And I can't remember if we've told this story on air or not. I think this was back, about 2008, 2009, I believe.
No, it was around 2007.
2007. So it's over 10 years ago.
Yes, but still, I don't want to go into all the details of that glorious, wonderful evening, because there are some things that the people don't have to know.
Well, I'm not going to tell where we were, and I'm not going to tell how we got there. Just know that
We
Lady
hung
Great,
out with them.
Lady Great One, and I, and our friend Dante, Lady Great One's cousin Dante, all got to hang out with Jeff Hardy, Montel Montavious Porter, and R-Truth for a night on the town after a SmackDown show. And it's probably top three, one of the best moments of my life. Maybe the number two best moment of my life, outside of my marriage. I have to say my marriage. But yeah, that was one of the most memorable nights that I've ever had in my life. And I really wish we could tell some of the details. Like I said, this is somewhat of a family show, so we can't really go into the details there. But I tell you what, if anybody ever caught me outside of this show and wanted to know the full-on details, I would be more than willing to go over the details after a few drinks. All right, so the next match on the card that we have, other than this one, WWE Intercontinental Championship, Seth Rollins versus The Miz. Much as I love The Miz, much as I love Seth Rollins, love both of them. Always been a Miz fan. I've been a Miz fan since the Extreme Expose back in ECW, since before the Miz and Morrison era. I have to say the same thing that I said at the Greatest Royal Rumble pay-per-view with the Bar versus Brain and Matt. We have a SmackDown superstar versus a Raw superstar for the Raw mid-card title that we just saw get defended Monday night in the main event. I can't even fathom Miz winning this match. It would be very interesting what they would do with the story if he did, but I am calling Mr. Monday Night Seth Rollins all the way with the W in this match. And I really don't have much else to add after that. What do you think about this one?
Actually, this one is one of those matches. It's like, I really want Miz to win. I really do, because not only will it be his record-breaking title reign when he does get his Intercontinental Championship back, but it would force Raw to either come up with a TV title or another title if both of the mid-card championships both end up on SmackDown, which is what I'm really banking towards.
So you're saying that there's going to be no titles on Raw. Brock's not going to be there. We're not going to have a mid-card champion.
I say that we make a TV title. I say that we do that and give that to Raw. I'm saying
we're going to give a bump to Braun's title.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool with that. I'm definitely down for that one. If that one does happen, I'll definitely be the first person to say that the Lady Great One has the reads on that one. But yeah, I just in my mind, I just can't see Seth losing. He's too much on a hot streak right now, and he's the only Raw competitor on the show. So, got to go with Seth on that one in my book. But that's a great twist to put on it if that does happen.
Hey, I like the swerves, man. I got curves and swerves all day.
Curves and swerves. Hashtag curves and swerves. Put that on the T-shirt. I don't know if we have that one in the books yet, but I think that we might have come up with another T-shirt there.
I think I'm going to go ahead and patent that phrase right there. Curves and swerves.
Absolutely.
Trademark. You heard it first, right here. Marking out amongst friends.
Marking out amongst friends. You heard it first.
That's right. Reedy got reads. Gotti got reads and curves and swerves by the Lady Great One.
Make sure you guys cop that shirt once we come out with it. So last match on the card, this looks like this is going to be the main event. We're going to get match 3, AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura 3 for the WWE Championship. Now, the stipulation on this match, this is the only special stipulation of the night. This is a no DQ match. So being anytime that there's a no DQ match at a pay-per-view, it always makes me wonder what's going to happen as far as interference. And I know you've called 2 interferences already. This will be my first that I'm calling. I'm calling there to be some type of interference in this match. I think that they've already given us the heel turn for Nakamura after Mania, the double count out finish at Greatest Royal Rumble. I think that we get a weird finish to this one too that will leave people hanging for more, and I think that we'll finally get a fourth and final match between the two. But I'm thinking there'll be an interference in this one. And I'm thinking that if we get a win from Samoa Joe against Roman Reigns, then I foresee Samoa Joe somehow getting involved and costing AJ Styles a title match, and Shinsuke Nakamura coming away as the new WWE champion. And I think from there, going into the next major show or pay-per-view, we're going to see an AJ Styles, Nakamura, Samoa Joe triple threat main event for the title. And it's going to be bananas.
Bananas. Well, here I go with my curves and swerves. Oh, I love that so much. It's actually quite nice. It just rolls off the tongue. But
it's curves and swerves. I like that. You did good on that one. I like that.
All right. But for me on this one, I just saw a post that was a very, very, very interesting thought here. AJ Styles won his first title due to a low blow on Dean Ambrose. I think that Nakamura will take AJ's title by a low blow. So his title reign ends the same way it began, with a low blow. Again. And since it's legal, he's going to murder his nuts. I'm glad that AJ Styles already has kids because he may not after this match.
So we're going to have a counter. We're going to set up a counter to see how many times Shinsuke hits a low blow in this match.
I'm calling it curves and swerves. I'm calling it. Put a counter on it. It's going to be at least. I was going to say it's going to be at least 4 times.
4 times. You're calling 4. I'm thinking that they're going to go for the third charm. The third time's a charm. So I'm thinking there's going to be 3. I might make this one into a post on the Game Runners. What's the over under? How many low blows do you think Shinsuke is going to hit at Backlash?
But if we count total between AJ included, as well as that, I'm going to go as high as to say there's going to be like at least 7 between the 2 of them.
So we're just going to
do total.
A low blow counter.
A low blow counter.
I'm gonna put this one out there. I'm gonna put this one out there later tonight or tomorrow. How many low blows do you think are going to be hit in that main event? And I don't know. Maybe we'll let the person who wins, whoever guesses it accurately, maybe we'll let them pick the group profile picture for the month or something like that. Yeah, I like that.
Yes, yes. We'll go ahead and definitely call that right there. If you're not one of our members yet on the Game Runners, you can find us at the Game Runners on Facebook. I am Toya Fowler on there. You can definitely add me. I am an admin on there, as well as your boy Jay Ritty. He is an admin as well. Look for us on the Game Runners, and we'll go ahead and put that low blow counter up there as soon as we get done with the show.
Shameless plug. And while we're plugging, go ahead and make sure you guys tune in to Debate Amongst Friends on Wednesday nights at 8:15 with your boy Doc Ocean, your boy the Professor John Gotti. And when you're listening to us, I don't know what you're listening to us on right now as we are live, but make sure that you can listen to us on YouTube, on Player FM live, on both of those. You can listen to us on iTunes, on Google Play, and many others. I'm gonna learned my homework on this one. I got to figure out what all episodes, what all stations, because we're on about 15 different apps right now. So there's no excuse for you to say that you haven't heard the show, and there's no excuse for you. There's no excuse for you to say that you cannot listen to the show because we're everywhere. We're everywhere. You're there. You're never there.
Exactly. Nobody's hiding up underneath the ring like Titus here, so come on.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Chris, for that little extra plug there. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. I owe you one. But still, let's go ahead and get on with it. That low blow counter's got to be up here in the next hour or so. So you can go ahead and bank on that.
Oh, I'm going to post that one. All right, so all in all, as far as the show, we've run down the whole list here. I think that we'll get a fairly decent pay-per-view. It's going to be the first, integrated pay-per-view outside of the big four that they've had. So I'm expecting them to at least put on a 7. I'm going to make a bold prediction. They're going to at least put out a 7. I don't expect a lot of great matches, but I don't think that I expect any bad match really outside of this whole pay-per-view other than the Strowman and Bobby Lashley match. And that's mainly because of Bobby Lashley. I don't even want to put that on Strowman. But that's maybe that's pretty much. I feel bad because, as a man of the hue that I am, you're expected to kind of, stick behind, wrestlers of a similar hue. And there's just something about Lashley that's not working for me. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't get behind Lashley. I do apologize.
I will say this when it comes to Bobby Lashley. He needs a Crystal Marshall again. He needs somebody to talk for him. He needs a Zelina Vega. He needs a Lana. He needs an Aiden English. He needs something there to help us find that Bobby Lashley that we had before.
Ooh, Zelina Vega.
Yes,
I had to say her name. It just rolls off your tongue. It's just like curves and swerves. When you say Zelina Vega, you just, whoo. You remember that bit in The Lion King back in the day when they say Mufasa? Ooh. When you say Zelina Vega, you just, whoo. Okay. But that just gave me another idea. I am filling up the jar tonight for Helen. Helen's going to be able to take a vacation as much as I'm putting in the jar tonight. A nice one, too. But that idea with the Zelina Vega just now, I just got an idea when I was saying that in the title match that we have that I'm expecting there to be some type of interference. Now, what we could get, because they've been airing vignettes for Zelina Vega and Andrade Cien Almas since Mania, and they have yet to debut. We could see the debut of them in a high-profile match by making their interference in the world title match.
Ooh, I didn't even think about that. Oh, you done threw a curve and swerve to me. Oh, I didn't even think about that. I'm gonna have to sit and think about that one. I mean, that one is, yeah.
We're just gonna let that one marinate on you guys. I don't even want to say anything else. I'm gonna let that one marinate on you guys. We're just gonna move right ahead into the final thought for the night. I'll let you start off with the final thought. What do you want to end us on tonight?
Well, my final thought tonight is that hashtag curves and swerves. I'm going to be simple. We're going to have a t-shirt for it. It's going to be awesome. Everybody get your game up. Curves and swerves coming at you soon to 2018. All summer long.
Oh, no doubt. Well, my final thought for the night, we're going to stick with, I know we gave Titus a lot of hell earlier tonight for that fall, which was probably top 5, one of the funniest things to ever occur on WWE television or on the network. But I do want to give a shout out to Titus O'Neil as being somebody who can take a moment like that and try to cash in on it. I don't know if anybody has seen it. I briefly mentioned it earlier tonight. He has debuted a new shirt. I'm not sure if it's on WWE Shop yet, but he is capitalizing the whole falling under the ring and making that part of his new moniker. I don't know where they're going to go with it, but kudos for him to take an embarrassing moment where the whole world was laughing at you and try to turn it into a check. So,
Oh, I
definitely.
do have to add on Raw that he slipped on the ropes. I don't know if that was scripted or if that was for real, but it was hilarious.
I believe that was
Either way
scripted.
it goes.
It was
But
hilarious, but I believe that was scripted. I think he's capitalizing on it that
he
way too.
sold it. He sold it so well. Ah, you can't fake greatness like this. Make it a character, make it a theme song, make it a t-shirt, catchphrase, hashtag, fall on your ass, or whatever. Titus something. I think I got my one good hashtag for the day, so I'm probably gonna just kind of draw that back now because I'm usually a one and done.
Look, you're pushing the envelope on this one. You're pushing it. You're pushing it. You struck
Yeah, yeah,
gold. You struck gold and you're pushing it now. But
yeah.
that's all we have for the show tonight. I know I put it out there. Another final thought, um, and this will be basically what I used to end here. I did put it out there in the Game Runners, which we've plugged a few times, that we're always looking for someone to join Lady Great One and I. Of course, we can do this all day and night. It comes naturally to us, but we always want to hear the opinions, the thoughts, and the pick at the brain of others. So for all the listeners out there, if you listen to the show, if you ever want to be on, you can hit me up in the Game Runners. You can inbox me. You can reach out to either Doc Ocean or the Professor John Gotti or even Lady Great One. We are all available, and we can make it happen. You wanna come on. You wanna come on our show. You wanna outdo us. You wanna outmark out us. Hit us up. And that will be the end. Once again, thank you guys for listening. Marking out amongst friends out.